No, I'm still very much against the play-in based off of the idea that like a one game in a vacuum determines a playoff spot.
The thing I really want to talk about off this, in this key game, granted not for the Hurricanes sat Sebastian Aho, Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, Seth Jarvis, Jackson Blake, Jacob Slavin, Jalen Chatfield. Key players and a pretty lengthy list. Should there be a play-in? I have said I'm a play-in guy. Last night is evidence to me there should be a play-in because I do not blame the Hurricanes for saying, I know this game matters. It does not matter to us. We're prioritizing what's going to happen next week when we play the New Jersey Devils. If there were a play-in, teams that have made the playoffs that are worried about the playoffs would not be able to affect teams fighting for the playoffs as strongly as the Hurricanes were able to last night.
No, I'm still very much against the play-in based off of the idea that like a one game in a vacuum determines a playoff spot. Like you can say one game determines a playoff spot at the end of an 82 game season, but it's part of a bigger whole. Like I really have a problem with determining a playoff spot in a sport so random on one game.
So that's fair because, yeah, anybody can beat anybody in one game. But it sucks that the Blue Jackets, and I know that's part of the whole thing, like they're probably watching the game together and being like, God, like, ugh.
At the end of the day, you have nobody to blame but yourself because they had a horrible month of March.
Fair. They struggled. Sean, play-in? Yes? No?
I agree with what Pete is saying, but I do like the play-in in theory. I think we could kind of, when we talked about this earlier in the year, kind of discuss like the teams kind of have to be like within a certain distance of each other. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't mind if it's like you got to make the playoffs by 2. You can't just like if it's like 1 point and then you lose a game to the team that you only beat by 1 point. Like I don't really consider that missing the playoffs based on a single game. I consider that missing the playoffs based on 83.
I mean, if you go by that though, you can't say every point matters during the regular season because if you win by 1 point, you still win by 1 point. That is a point that should matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they
if you want to say
a play-in.
If you want to say like the tiebreaker should be a 1 game playoff for teams that are tied in the standings.
Yes,
I can get behind that.
I miss baseball
because
baseball
tiebreakers are kind of stupid. And
I agree,
and I dislike that. I would be a fan of a play-in game with teams tied in the standings at the end of the year.
I just hate the way this ends for the Blue Jackets. And it sucks. I wanted both these teams to make the playoffs. I'm happy either way. I'm happy the Canadians are in. I would have been really happy if the Blue Jackets were in. Imagine if this culminated in the Canadians and Blue Jackets playing each other, even in a 3-game series.
I like play-ins mainly just because it is more high-stakes hockey. Like not for like any like teams deserve a chance or whatever. Like I just want. Like, I think you see it in the NBA. Like, I think it's a nice little appetizer to the actual playoffs. And it forces you to, like, get excited about the 10th seed in a way that you probably wouldn't have been. Like, it gives them a little momentum going into a series that otherwise you would have been like, they're just going to get swept.
Especially given right now in the NHL, this is the best time for there to be play-in stuff because you're getting the Canadians, you're getting the Red Wings, you're getting the Blue Jackets, all these teams that are fringe playoff teams that we love. I mean, a couple of years ago, Sean, you're getting the Buffalo Sabres in a play-in game. And then there would be questions of, does that end the streak? Does that not end the streak? Because they would have lost that
play-ins are not playoff games. I don't consider them playoff games. Like, I don't think baseball considers wild card games.
I believe they do.
And I know for sure the NBA does not consider play-in games part of the playoffs.
Okay, well, I want it based on last night because I don't fault the Hurricanes for doing what they did, but I would like there to be a little more juice in these final days. And we came so close to it coming down to the Blue Jackets last game.
We all silly like the mayor.